We still don't know when Top Gun 3 will hit theaters, but it is confirmed that some members of the Top Gun training school will return. When we last saw Maverick, he and Rooster were working on his P-51 Mustang, and as the sun sets, Maverick and Penny fly off aboard the antique plane. While Top Gun Maverick ended without setting up the next chapter in the story, it is confirmed that Maverick will return for the third movie, and though we still don't know what the plot of Top Gun 3 will be, Top Gun Maverick did leave behind some clues. Notably, Admiral Hammer Kane shared plans to replace the Navy's pilots with a whole armada of drones, so in Top Gun 3, Maverick might need to prove why he and his fellow Top Gun pilots are still better than any unmanned machine. Coincidentally, this actually lines up with the popular theory about Maverick in Top Gun 3 that the next movie will be where Pete Maverick Mitchell dies. Indeed, it always seemed that Maverick was destined to go out like his dad, a veteran of the Vietnam War who sacrificed his life to save his fellow soldiers. After all, Tom Cruise is in his 60s, so Top Gun 3 could actually be where he steps aside for the next generation of Navy aces to take over. In any case, should any of this actually happen in the next movie, we at least know that Maverick won't be alone in whatever new mission he faces. And this brings us to the next confirmed returning character, Lieutenant Bradley Rooster. Bradshaw started out hating Maverick, whom Rooster blamed for the death of his father, Nick Goose Bradshaw. However, in the third act of the Legacy sequel, Rooster and Maverick save each other's lives and finally bury the hatchet. With Rooster confirmed to return for Top Gun 3, the sequel is bound to further explore this budding new friendship. In fact, Rooster's dad, Goose, was Maverick's best friend, a long vacant position that Rooster could potentially fill in the upcoming sequel. Indeed, after the death of Admiral Tom Iceman Kazansky, Maverick will need a new buddy with whom he has a shared history. Besides, the next sing-along in the sequel needs to include Maverick too, especially after the captain proved himself in the mission. That said, Rooster could be headed for a different bromance in Top Gun 3, which brings us to our next confirmed cast member. Easily the most arrogant of Maverick's students in the Top Gun school, the cocksure Lieutenant Jake Hangman Saracen is confirmed to return for the sequel as well. While Hangman and Rooster got off on the wrong foot, he later saves both Maverick and Rooster during the ending of their mission. Like his fellow returning cast members, we still don't know what's in store for Hangman in Top Gun 3, but as longtime viewers of the franchise have observed, Hangman is actually the only member of the Top Gun team who's really comparable to Maverick from the first movie. He's arrogant, extremely sure of his abilities, and might be the best pilot not just in their team, but in the entire Navy. Indeed, Hangman's moniker stems from his terrible habit of leaving his wingman in the dust. And just like Maverick from the first Top Gun, Hangman was held back by his refusal to be a team player. So in the sequel, Hangman could evolve similarly to Maverick as well. After Hangman's heroic actions in the ending, the appointed emergency action pilot from the last mission could actually be worthy of being team leader this time around. And with the confirmed preliminary cast of Top Gun 3 covered, let's dive into the characters who are rumored to also be in the sequel. Guys like Maverick, Hangman, and Rooster are all impressive pilots. But when it comes to pilot WSO duos, no one beats Natasha Phoenix Trace and Robert Bob Floyd, respectively played by Monica Barbaro and Louis Pullman. From the moment Phoenix found out Bob was her backseater, she instantly included the ostracized mission candidate in the conversation. It was a blink and you'll miss it moment in Top Gun Maverick, but it's indicative of Phoenix's leadership potential. Knowing that she and Bob would be responsible for each other's lives, Phoenix immediately started bonding with her weapon systems officer, and thanks to Bob's wallflower nature and Phoenix's no-nonsense aura, they're also the perfect foil for each other. Combined with this duo's ability to stay calm in the face of impending doom, it makes sense why they're rumored to also be in the cast of Top Gun 3. As the sequel will no doubt feature an even more difficult mission, the Navy is gonna need the best of the best once more. And on that note, let's not forget the top brass who pulled it all together. Although they were just minor characters in Top Gun Maverick, the sequel would be remiss without John Hamm as Vice Admiral Bo Cyclone Simpson and Ed Harris as Admiral Chester Hammer Kane. After all, it is these guys who are really calling the shots in the Navy. Besides, if Cyclone and Hammer weren't in the picture, there wouldn't be anyone to either rein in Maverick, put him in his place, or steer him in the right direction. These guys may seem like secondary antagonists, but at the end of the day, they're very much on the same side as every mission candidate for whom they're directly responsible. It's why Cyclone is always so hard on Maverick, and it's also likely part of why Hammer seems so interested in commanding drones instead of human lives. Speaking of the top brass, this brings us to the next Top Gun Maverick cast member who could reprise his role in the sequel. Val Kilmer's Admiral Tom Iceman Kazansky notably died of terminal cancer in Top Gun Maverick, but before he died, Iceman served as the bridge between Maverick and the Navy's top command. As Maverick's former rival, Iceman may be the only person who instantly sees through Maverick's hubris and talks straight to the dedicated servicemen hiding behind this arrogant facade. And in a way, even Iceman's form of communication speaks to how difficult it is to actually get Maverick to follow orders. So instead of bringing in someone new to fill this crucial role, Top Gun 3 could simply bring Iceman back through flashbacks. After all, Top Gun Maverick didn't utilize any footage of him and Iceman from the first movie back when they were rivals. And as Maverick faces impossible odds yet again in Top Gun 3, some of those moments could see Iceman imparting wisdom from beyond the grave. Another option would be to somehow use Iceman's voice in the sequel. With the AI voice platform Semantic having perfected their version of Val Kilmer's voice, Top Gun 3 could still bring back Iceman right when Maverick needs him the most. Now don't get us wrong, Iceman's role was perfectly short and sweet in Top Gun Maverick, but there's bound to be moments in the sequel where it makes sense for Iceman to unexpectedly appear on screen. And while Top Gun 3 should definitely honor the past, it also needs to settle some unanswered questions about Maverick's future. Out of all the Top Gun characters rumored to be in the next movie, Jennifer Connelly's Penelope Penny Benjamin may have the highest chances of actually returning. Introduced as Maverick's former girlfriend, Penny ends up reconciling with Maverick before he goes off for the mission. Later, the last scene where they fly away on a Mustang even heavily implies that they get back together in the ending. Considering their shared history and what they mean to each other, the franchise can't just leave things lying where they are. Outside of flying and teaching the next generation of Top Gun aces, Penny may be Maverick's only chance at living a normal, fulfilling life. Even Liliana Ray's Amelia, Penny's daughter, seems highly supportive of her mother being with Maverick. In fact, Top Gun 3 could see both Penny and Amelia reprising their roles. Whether Maverick is headed towards tragedy or another glorious victory in the next movie, Penny and Amelia should be there to console him or celebrate another achievement for the Navy. And speaking of achievements, Top Gun 3 could also reveal that Penny has become pregnant with Maverick's child. Maverick could even name the child Tom after Iceman or Nick after his late best friend Goose. Either way, Maverick and Penny having a baby could be the perfect bittersweet ending should Maverick actually die in Top Gun 3. And considering who its father is, that baby would have an entire community ensuring that it's well cared for. So what do you think? Could Penny, Iceman, Cyclone, Phoenix, or any of these other characters actually return for Top Gun 3? Tell us your thoughts and theories in the comments, and keep watching Screen Rant.